everyone, Dylan here, and I know I'm late, but as the expression goes, it's better late than never. This is December 22nd's AEW Dynamite. It starts off with Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and Taz welcoming us to the Holiday Bash from Greensboro Coliseum in North Carolina. So, they confused me, right? They said at the beginning that JR would be on this show later on, and then later on they correct themselves to say he'll be on next week. Anyway, Adam Cole comes out. If you don't know my reviews by now, even on the great shows, I like to give highlights so that way it doesn't spoil too much for you. So here's kind of like some of the highlights, things I saw, stuff like that. There was a sign in the crowd as Adam Cole came out that said, "Put a little coal in your stocking," and it had like fire around the coal. It was cool. This crowd was good, but every now and then they got a little quiet as if they were studying the match a little too much. But, still good crowd. Adam Cole had a match against Orange Cassidy, and even before the match starts, the crowd wakes up a little bit. They have a stare-off until Adam Cole does his taunt, and then Orange shoves Adam's fingers in his pockets. They have a good back and forth. One complaint I have is that they plug way too much for the future, but I get it, that's just a business thing. It's whatever. The match keeps on going until the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler try to interfere. Cutler runs down, and Orange jumps on him, from the top rope, I believe. The Bucks then try to send him to Superkick Party until the best friends come down. And I don't know if someone wasn't on their cue or whatever, but Nick went to attack first, and then Mac had to stall for a second, and then he recovered. Anyways, they go to do blows, but Orange just jumps on all of them, and Adam Cole picks him up and throws him into the steps twice, tries to do the boom knee thing, but he misses, hits his knee on the steps as we go to picture-in-picture. Come back into the normal match, and they're doing the ground version of the yay boo spot, as I like to call it, but Orange intentionally does weak hits back to him, which just pisses Cole off more, but that's enough of a distraction for Orange to super kick him. But he misses the super kick, right? Cole is on his knees. They roll around on the ground for a bit, as I worded. Adam gives him a ground super kick. Orange tries to super kick him, but ends up taking a knee suplex spot. So, sorry, I'll get it right now. Adam Cole gives Orange so it's like a suplex, but a brain buster onto the knee spot. I'd never know the name of, but I love. And does it for 2. All right, at this point, I kind of stopped calling the spots because, as I wrote down, I don't want a 30-minute video, so here's what you need to know. Orange tries to pull a move off the top rope, does his gimmick with the glasses, and catches a super kick and a panel sunrise for close to 2. The final spot is right after Orange was going for Beach Breaker, but Adam Cole decides to roll up the ring. Then Bobby Fish does run out to distract the ref, and they have a tight shot on Orange Cassidy, so you know what that means. A debut. Yeah, that's right. Kyle O'Reilly runs out and knocks Orange down. Cole does the boon, and we send it home as Dylan marks out in his room. I love freaking Red Dragon. Don't get me started on that. Could have a podcast on its own about Red Dragon. And afterwards, Kyle beats down Orange more, but Adam pulls him off and gets in his face the last time we saw him, they were kind of not getting along. Red Dragon holds up Chuck for Adam to do a super kick, and then they do the high-low, whereas I and Taz both call it the total elimination to Trent. Bucks then come out a little upset because Red Dragon and them never exactly got along on the same page. The Bucks and Cole get into a verbal spit as the former Undisputed Era walks out on the Bucks as we go to the break. Alright, we come back and they show highlights of last week's title match draw between Adam Page and Bryan Danielson. And then they plug the show for the 5th. Then we go to Excalibur sends us to ringside with Tony. Schiavone said it's good to be back here and welcomes out Adam Page. Then he has an interview talking about last week's match, and Page says that he was disappointed about how last week ended. Then Bryan comes out and calls him entitled for still being champion and disappointed. Then he got basically a bunch of heat on himself, saying he should be the champion. He's not going to cry about it and get bitter. He's just going to kick Page's ass again. He says that he doesn't want a time limit draw. He wants AEW to bring in judges. And I smell a screwy finish. You know those judges are going to be impartial towards Danielson. I'm telling you. I think if it goes in the order that I recorded, last week's review is going to come out before this week. And I said I wrote that down in this week's review 2 weeks ago when I did it and forgot to record. But I still believe that now that it's going to be a screwy finish, and that's how Danielson's going to win the title. Anyways, Heyman gives him a fiery promo on how he's going to kick his ass. They fade to a pre-recorded video package of the Pinnacle talking. MJF asked Wardlow about last week, what happened then. I don't remember, to be honest, but, more of MJF versus Wardlow type of deal being alluded to. And then blames Punk for this internal fighting. He then destroys Punk, Sting, and Allen verbally, and then FDR attacks him verbally as Spears hypes him up, and we got to break. Come back, and Wardlow comes out to compete against Captain Job D, aka Local Jobber. After 5 power bombs, Wardlow squashes him, then Sean Spears hits him with a chair after the match, trying to steal the spotlight to show an ad for Cody versus Sammy on Christmas Rampage, which we'll get to that. Alright, we come back after the ad, and announcers are hyping up the event as, I think the event for this week is what I meant by that, as Dan Lambert cuts him off and runs down how his people should have a match on Christmas, and Cody sucks balls, the end. We then go backstage with Tony and the Brit Squad, as I labeled them, talking about how much better she is than Rio. Then we go to ad. Come back, the show's so much better than WWE. Come back and we have a touching tribute to Owen Hart, and then we go back to the action. It's the semifinals of the TBS Women's Title Contender with Nyla Rose versus Ruby Soho, and if you watched my match review from the week after this reviews, you know the results of this, but this is what I'll say. Poor Ruby, she gets her freaking wrist stuck in the jacket, and she fights it legitimately 5 minutes. But the overall battle is a pretty good monster versus cruiserweight battle, and the crowd's behind Ruby the whole way through, you can tell. And as you know, Ruby wins, and she makes it to the finals, and she's selling her arm like she legitimately injured it, so we'll see if that comes into play at current time, next week's finals on TBS. There we go. Come back, and then we get a highlight package for Isaiah Cassidy versus Jungle Boy. They do promos against each other. And then we got our main event of Punk and Darby and Sting versus MJFTR. I think commentary labeled that, but I'm going to steal that. Sting comes out with... I gotta do this because it popped Dylan. Sting comes out with a sick-ass, face paint going on. And it's got God, if I can speak. It's got Punk's fists on it, and it looks so badass. And Darby has, the pink half looking like Sting's face paint. And then Punk comes out with the Surfer Sting face paint, and with, scorpion tights on. And the crowd, this is, the loudest I've heard the crowd. And, of course, Taz, being Taz, takes a shot at the fact that his son outsold Punk on t-shirts, and I love that. MJF teases starting out with Punk and tags in Dax, and they have a wrestle for a bit. Okay, Dylan's going to be honest with you. I can't find the rest of this review, right? Okay, so this is what I'll tell you. They do wrestles for a bit. Sting does a jump off the top. They legitimately have a killer freaking match. And you'll just have to watch it, because Dylan can't tell you that much more, because I don't remember 14 days ago that well. This is what I'll tell you that I remember. Actually, I'm just going to Google search it. I won't even lie. Let's see. MJF and FTR versus Sting, CM, 2 words, Punk, and Darby. I'm just gonna skip to the end because that's the part you need. This was a 23-minute match basically, and it ends. Oh yeah, freaking MJF almost breaks his neck out there. I forgot to include that, but it ends with the team of CM Punk, Sting, and Darby Allin winning, send the crowd happy. That's right, MJF ends up tagging in one of the FTR boys to take a to take the L. Yeah, they just taunt on the ropes, send the crowd happy, send the crowd home happy, if I can speak, and we fade to black. That's the event. Honestly, this was an interesting show. Like, you can tell they're leaving these couple of episodes that they have left with TNT. You can tell they're leaving. They're giving some excitement, but they're leaving most of the excitement for this New Year's episode. You can tell. I'm kind of excited because let's put it this way. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, right? But as far as I'm concerned, it seems like they are building up. I'm trying to think while typing, sorry. It seems like they're trying to build up this New Year's event pretty strong, and they're letting some of these debuts come and come and come and come. My theory, I'm going to say now, you remember a couple weeks ago how Adam Cole was like, I got a present for you, Bucks? I bet you with money. What if I doubt they will go this route, but what if it's like, oh, he wasn't the president, and then Johnny Gargano comes out? Listen, a dreamer can dream. Alright. On that note, I'll let you guys go. I think you've heard enough of this voice.